Okay, hello, let's get this recap started. Meet Melinda. She pulls up to this gas station and lights a cigarette. She sees another man smoking and tells him he shouldn't smoke too close to the fuel pump. He tells her to chill and to leave him alone. She leaves. She walks into the station and awkwardly greets Sheila, the cashier. Sheila tells her to restock and clean the toilets. Melinda says sure and gets to work. While restocking, she strikes up a conversation with a customer. She tells him to try the pistachios. She even introduces herself. He takes the pistachios and leaves. While Melinda cleans the toilet, she takes a look at her phone, staring at pictures of candid photos of a cop. We cut to Sheila watching videos on twerking. Sheila convinces Melinda to, I don't quite know what that is. Sheila films Melinda and puts the video on the internet. This guy Fred walks in and offers Sheila some foot insoles. He says he heard her complaining about her feet yesterday. Melinda accepts the gift for Sheila, but Sheila returns the insoles, saying Fred is here every night and she wants nothing to do with him. Unlucky. Weirdo Fred walks off. Melinda stops him and says the insoles fit her perfectly in her awkward attempt to cheer him up. This guy Billy walks into the station. Oh, and Billy's got the strap. Melinda introduces herself to Billy. He asks her if anybody else is working in the store, when suddenly a cop car pulls up. Melinda and the cop from her candid picture have a brief conversation. They seem friendly towards each other. Sheila walks up to Billy and asks if he needs help. He says he's looking for condoms. Sheila decides to help him out. Now that's customer service. Melinda asks Officer Lou to take her on a ride. He says nah, he's busy. She jokes about getting arrested on purpose so he can give her a ride. He tells her to chill. He'll give her a ride later, when he's not so busy. He walks in to get some coffee. Billy goes to the bathroom. Officer Lou comments on the sex-enhancing pills he found on the counter. Sheila yells at Melinda, who's trying to take another candid photo of Officer Lou. Melinda drops her phone. Lou tells her he's dropped his phone a few times too, so it's all good, not realizing she was taking a picture of him. But Sheila was not fooled. She tells Melinda she knows what she was doing and says she's a weirdo. Melinda steps out to smoke and have a little cry. She walks back into Billy's long, stiff gun. He tells her to stand next to Sheila. He starts explaining that a biker gang is after him and he needs the money. Sheila cuts him off and says to just get on with the robbery. He asks for the money in the safe room. Sheila informs him that only managers have access to the safe room. Billy looks disappointed but settles for the cash register money. Sheila has more bad news for Billy, as there's less than $100 in the register because people use card nowadays. She says his gun is probably fake anyway, and he shows her that it most certainly is not. Melinda asks if this will be enough money for Billy to pay off the bikers. She says she'll help him out and grab the money from the safe like a clown. While Melinda is getting the money and unbuttoning her shirt a little bit, two customers walk into the station. Billy tells Sheila not to make a sound. The customers walk to the counter to pay and ask for directions. Sheila writes down directions and a note on the receipt to call the police. Melinda takes the receipt and crumbles it up. Billy walks back to the counter and asks for the money. Melinda tells Billy she'll give it to him, but he must take her with him. Billy says nah, I'm good, and roughly snatches the bag. Sheila calls him a clown and a coward for bullying two women. Billy doesn't seem to like that very much. He pulls Sheila over the counter and tells Melinda to lock the door. Billy drags Sheila to the back and tells Melinda to stay up front. Melinda seems rather disappointed and pours a bit of boiling hot coffee on her hand. She then walks to the back room, spills the hot coffee on Billy's face, then knocks him unconscious with a fire extinguisher. While falling, Billy accidentally pulls the trigger and kills Sheila. R.I.P. Melinda cleans up and wraps Sheila's body in a tarp. Billy wakes up and says he never meant to kill anyone, and tries to get up but notices he's strapped down by zip ties. Melinda calmly and quietly sits in front of Billy. She asks why he didn't take her. He says the situation is crazy, and says that they're now accomplices since she didn't call the cops. She says they were always accomplices. Billy, at this point probably realizing Melinda is an entire psychopath, says it's all good. He just didn't believe her at first. He then asks if she's unhappy at her gas station job. She says she loves her gas station job, and there's many social benefits to working as a clerk. Billy then says his face hurts. Melinda goes to the front to grab some painkillers, while an angry customer tries to get into the station. Melinda feeds Billy some painkillers and asks how they're going to escape. Then she tells Billy she has a boyfriend, to which he looks more than a little surprised. She feeds him some more painkillers and he quickly finds out they're not painkillers at all. In fact, they're sexually enhancing drugs. Melinda unzips Billy's pants. She says she knows he's lying and will not leave with her, so she blindfolds him and attempts to rape him. Billy somehow breaks free and runs into a locker, knocking himself out again. Melinda decides to just cut her losses and take the money and leave. Melinda lets in the man from earlier. The man seems annoyed that there's no coffee. Melinda then takes Billy's gun and turns it on herself, ready to pull the trigger, but she stops herself last second and begins to cry. Melinda asks the man to leave and call 911. Some new guy appears. His name is Perry, Sheila's boyfriend. He asks about Sheila's whereabouts. Melinda tells Perry that Sheila already left. Perry begins to call Sheila's phone and hears it buzzing. Perry becomes quite suspicious. Melinda tells Perry that she left to a hotel with another guy. Perry believes her and leaves. Melinda grabs a shovel to bury Sheila and maybe Billy. Melinda is walking outside of the station when she runs into the biker gang that was after Billy. The biker gang approaches Melinda and describes Billy to her, asking if she's seen him. Melinda asks if they do illegal things such as burying dead bodies. The bikers laugh and attempt to enter the store by force. Melinda pulls out the strap. The bikers pull out their glizzies as well, not missing a beat. The biker gang boss tells his crew to chill as there are cameras everywhere. He then says they're going to take a look around for Billy, and if they don't find him, they'll be back. Melinda walks back to the station and tries to break the lock to destroy the camera footage. She's quite unsuccessful, so she walks out and takes a smoke. Melinda then decides to burn the whole place down. She fills up 2 canisters with gasoline and walks into the station. She's about to set the place ablaze when Officer Lou walks in and points the gun at Melinda. He puts his gun away. It seems he thought she was someone else. Officer Lou asks if she's seen anyone suspicious. He says he saw Billy's car parked out front with the key still in the ignition. He then says he wants to check the tapes and she informs him that her boss has the keys to the camera footage. He says all good and calls her boss. Melinda informs him that in fact she has seen someone suspicious. She says the suspicious man she saw left for a hotel in a green Jeep, attempting to implicate Perry, Sheila's boyfriend. Officer Lou seems a little suspicious of Melinda and asks if he could take a look around. Melinda gets frustrated almost to the point of tears, but Lou begins to search anyway. Officer Lou takes a very uninspired look around and finds nothing. A surprised Melinda puts away her glizzy. Officer Lou gives Melinda his card and says if she sees anything suspicious to inform him. Melinda takes a look in the back room and finds severed cable ties with the blood still on them. It seems Officer Lou didn't do a very good job. Melinda then continues on with her plan to light the gas station on fire. Melinda hears a strange thud and the lights go out. She tries to leave the gas station, but since the power is out, the door will not open. A wild Billy appears, yelling at Melinda. Melinda says she will burn the whole place down if he doesn't chill. Perry appears, banging on the door to let him in. This gives Billy the chance to slip away through the back. Melinda tries to leave as well, but it seems Billy trapped her in the station. Billy goes to the front and tells Perry that Melinda went crazy and killed Sheila. Perry begins to question Melinda. While he's doing this, Billy appears behind him and strangles him to death. He then takes Perry's Jeep and dips. Melinda calls Officer Lou. While she's doing this, Billy crashes the Jeep in the front entrance. Melinda tries to apologize to Billy, but he's not having it and fires his gun. Since the gun was dropped in gasoline earlier, it's set ablaze. Billy drops it on the floor, lighting the station up. Billy's fully set aflame in the fire as well, and so will Melinda. Melinda manages to escape, but her legs have been burned in the process. The police arrive and Officer Lou escorts her to safety. The end. Until next time.